Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining my session. Our session today for Explore Demand Planning with Copilot. I'm Hisham Elsayed, Technical Consultant for D65 Finance and Supply Chain at Verada. Currently, I work with Application Managed Service team at Verada, and while we are concerned with the new technology and giving a proper support for our customers. As we mentioned, our session today for demand planning with Copilot. So how the demand planning is important for all the process in regard for the ERP. So inaccurate forecast can cause lost revenue and inefficiency in the supply chain, but intelligent forecast lead to better demand plans, improve revenue, and reducing stock out. In D65 supply chain, over next generation demand planning solution with advanced forecasts, intelligent reports, and analytics. This help organizations in create agile, resilient, and efficient demand planning process. So our agenda today for overview of demand planning, AI and forecast models, architecture, licensing, roadmap, demo, and Q&A. If we come to the full picture about demand planning, how it can start from planning to execution, we can see that there are three main stages built on each other for demand planning. Start with using demand planning itself by build some automation or something using the AI, and then this algorithm translated to a data that can be shared or cooperate with teams or any other team member through the comments or something like that, to be the entry point for the next stage for master planning and even for planning optimization. And then it will be translated to a real execution data or process in different modules such warehouse management, inventory feasibility, pricing, and asset management. On the left-hand side, we can find a circle with the holistic view of the process of demand planning. Start with demand planning, then inventory and supply planning, then supply chain execution. And every stage of this circle have many business process. So for demand planning, start by integrated with data source. And in here, we can find different data source. Start from Azure Data Lake or Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation instance. And it can be also Excel or CSV that it come to import this data. And then we can do transformation on this data or create forecasts and then review this data, while I can make aggregation, even update on the data before I export it again to D65 or in any other data lake, for example. And then that it be very important to take to the next step for supply planning, as we mentioned, for master planning or even for optimization, that it will be very important in execution business and execution process, and it can be again the input for demand planning. So it's like a flow and a loop in the same time. So here is the demand planning process that we can see the input in the beginning. This input content on historical demand data, maybe past forecast or something. And then we can move with pre-processing or transformation this data to come to forecast and then review and collaboration with other team member, even through Microsoft Teams. And then it can be published and export. So here's the integration and transformation for the data. As we mentioned that we can integrate with different data sources. Start with CSV, Excel, Azure Data Lake, Dynamics 365 finance and supply chain, or even any additional or legacy ERP or third-party applications. I can also use Power Query connectors to make any modification for the data before import to demand planning. So what is architecture for demand planning? The architecture starts with the input data source. We can see again it's different data source for Excel, CSV, Azure Data Lake, even D365 supply chain, and any third-party application to be imported to demand planning, which is one of Dynamics 365 apps run over Dataverse. Then the last stage to be exported again to after I apply my algorithm and even some transformation on the data to be exported again to D365 supply chain and CSV. If I extend this architecture, I can find in the middle, there is a place where the demand planning applies the algorithm. The standard algorithm will come to this point in details what we have from different types of algorithms. And then in addition, we can use Azure machine learning for any customer algorithm that it work to make analytics for my data or make forecasting, while I can export it again to supply chain and CSV. So for demand planning UI, we can find it's similar like as we mentioned, it's a flow, similar exactly for the flow in D365. There is some steps, every steps consider and concern on a specific action from start to apply the algorithm that it will be generate the forecast for us and then ended by save. So we can get this output in the end by review all the data in a grid and graph, and we can apply the comments and share or make cooperation with other people, and the comment it will be also considered through data level security, so which means that the one who has role only see the comments, otherwise no, but there is also some public comments that I can put it in the top to be shown by all the team members. We can't forget the Copilot with demand planning as a very huge trend nowadays. So we can leverage Copilot with demand planning to give us a holistic view or summary about any point in graph or even in grid, instead of make slice and dice to go deadly to get information about this number or this data. So we come in here for the 4 different algorithms used by demand forecast. We have ARIMA, ETS, Profit, and Best Fit. So what is ARIMA? ARIMA is especially used with data in pattern that be used by ARIMA, and ETS is especially concerned by error and trends seasonality, when my data come in specific trends or something like that, or seasonality. So this algorithm mainly used by this data. So in a Profit, with something come when I have complex data from real world, and this algorithm delivered by Facebook, by the way. And then we have Best Fit. What's Best Fit? Best Fit selects the proper algorithm per product combined by dimension of this product, and we can come to see what is this exactly in details in our demo. So there is many more information about the algorithm in Microsoft doc website, so you can go deeply to understand more about the algorithm used by demand planning. So what about the installation and the update? So the installation is straightforward. We can see that in our demo. So if I come to the demo now, if I come to installation, there is some prerequisite for the installation and also on Microsoft Docs. So the prerequisite, I should have version update 38 or later from supply chain, and I should have environment with 2-tier type. And of course, as you know, I should to enable the integration between D65 finance or supply chain with the Power Platform. So while I complete this step or this prerequisite, it will be straightforward while I can install demand planning. So if I come to finance and operation, there is also 3 places I should be consider or enable them while I can get demand planning. The first one is demand planning app parameters, which is come under system administration module and pass this data, which is content on Power Platform, environment and other information. And then I should to come to master planning parameters. I should to consider that this number sequence is also enabled while it can be used by demand planning. In addition to enable demand planning for management feature in D65 in here. So if I come to home page, so I can see this is a home page and here is the demand planning. When I click it, it will take me up to this page, while this is the home page of demand planning. So it contains on some videos to give me a brief about some process for demand planning, such import data from anywhere, plan faster, collaboration better, and so on. And in the middle, we can find the main idea of demand planning, like in a flow. We start with import data, create transformation, create forecasts, review and adjust forecast, and then export. This is the mainly 5 stages of demand planning as in flow. And in here we can find some tutorials. These tutorials cover every process from this above graph in a like tool or practice that can guide you in a step by step to complete this flow or this stage of flow. So in here we can find 2 things very important. After I complete the deployment for demand planning successfully, I can find some data come as a demo data, which is it will be under this if I would like to reset it to demo data again. But because of the demo purpose and I am mainly consider with and work with D65 supply chain as ERP, I would like to connect it with D65 supply chain. So I delete all data. When I click delete all data, it takes around maybe 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes until the data is complete deleted. So before I import the data or connect D65 supply chain with demand plan, we come here to see what is the table. So we have a list of standard table come with the demand plan. Start with very important table like historical demand, which is contained on some important data about the products like the quantity and dates, and other like legal entity, list of legal entity in D65 supply chain, and product as a master table contain on all the information about the table, and warehouse management, warehouse location, a list of standard table. In addition, I can add any new table in here, or even if I open one of these column, I can add my custom column as well if I would like to add any custom column, and I can see the relation for this table. So historical demand linked to product table through product ID, and it also linked to warehouse location through location ID, something like that. And I can change, of course, in relation or add any additional relation. So after I make the import, I should see all the data comes up here as you see from the 35 supply chain. So if we come to import, I can click here new, and then I will go through wizard to link D65 supply chain with demand planning. So I should to pass the URL for my environment, and then there is some configuration in here to show me the list of the table that it will be synchronized by D65. So I have this standard table from demand planning, and I can decide which one will be synchronized or not. And even I can delete some data before importing if I need to delete the previous data. So, and then we can find something common in all the process with us in demand planning, which is run schedule. It should be from none to recurring. So I can decide to run this process in recurring in a specific date and time. So once I make or complete the configuration, I can make save and then run the process, and it should be completed as you see in here. So I don't like to go through this process because also it takes me around maybe 10 minutes. So we should wait. So let's us come to a real case scenario and how we can complete our demo like end-to-end process. So our next step is transformation. What is transformation? Transformation is to plot our data and table to give us X and Y axis. So we have a transformation. I will click new, and then I will create forecast for only one product because I don't like to run the forecast for all the product because it will take a little bit time. So suppose I will select this product number. And give it this name. And I should give this in description. I can see the category. I have different type of category. For our case, I will select forecast. And then for time bucket, I will make it monthly. And precision, I have different format of precision. I prefer to keep it as this standard one. And then we come to the next. So we can configure which table will be in my X and Y axis. So I come to add column. In here, you can find something requires timestamp and measure, which is required also quantitative or quantity number, and then dimension. We will come to each part. So first I will select historical demand, and I will link the date with timestamp, which is the column in historical demand belong to the date, and then for quantity should be linked to measure while we need something quantitative. So I have date and quantity. Then let's go for dimension. What is dimension? As you know, we have a product. Sometimes this product has different aspects like different size and color and maybe location. So this is the dimension of the product. So I can select from the product. I can select product ID and product name. This is as essential columns for the product, but as we know, there is some variant. So I should also select product variant ID and product variant name. And then I will make OK. So this is the list of my time series or the table that I will use in my forecast in the next steps. So don't forget that I should to make filter because I will select only one product from one legal entity. So I come in here, I will select the product and add row from product ID. I will select the same number I mentioned in my description and then save. An additional filter, it should be for the legal entity because I don't like, as you know, D65 has a list of legal entity. So in my case, I need to work with only one legal entity. So I will add an additional filter in here. Then I will select legal entity. I will add row and I will select the legal entity ID. And then in here, I will select the value. Then save. Then we come to next step, ask me for recurring or none. I select none, and then review. Once I finish, I should come in here and make run. When I make run, it should create a job for me, and this job should be here asking me to create new time series. I said yes, okay. And should be start by creating, then execution, then completed. Now we are in execution and then completed. So if I come after completed, if I come to all forecast, I can find my time series in here, and I can find here's output is a graph for my current product. As you see, it start from 2015 ended to 2016 as historical data with the details with the quantity here per month because I select my timeline per month. Okay, so here all the information about this product displayed in X and Y axis. So let us do some calculation on our data with a specific operation. Like for example, I need to use my data to multiply the quantity in addition with 1.5, for example, from the original quantity and do shifting for the date. And instead of the date start with 2015, I would like to be until 2024, for example. So I will come to calculation and I will create new. Similar step, I come to this one and I will make here shifting or date shifting. And here I will keep the precision and I will select forecast. Then next. It asks me about the data source. I select our time series for the one we already created, and I will click include data source. I should to consider that this is the latest time series I work with, come from latest current in here. And then I come to next. I will keep it as a blank for now because I would like to amend it from my side. And here is review and finish. I come here to see the summary. Here's the input, and here's the calculation module. As we can see here, the flow similar to this T5 flow exactly, asking me to add the flow of this calculation. I have the first step is input. If I open here setting, I can't find anything interested in here, so I will close this and I will add what is the operation I would like or step I would like to be applied in this flow. I will select date offset and then I will make save to complete the process. In this step, I will make setting. I come in here and change the value to make shifting by 8 years and I will select save. Before I go, I should to make validation that ensures that everything is coming and working as expected, and then I will run the process. When run the process, it asks me if I would like to create a new time series or use existing one. So I will select the existing one because we already have one in here. So here is our time series, and I will put here that date shifting for this one. I can see also save current as version before. So for versioning, I can consider that if I enable it or not, but I like to keep it to find the version later on and compare between each one. So I will make run. I come to the job to see it's in execution, and then it should be completed. Okay, so if I come to all, I can see this one has been shifted, okay, from 2015 by additional eight years, so it come with all for 20 until 24. I can play with this data. I can select the last record in here. For example, I don't like this value. I like to make some manipulation, so I will edit this. For example, I increase it by 500 to 500, and then I will move to any next cell while I can make save. So we can see the graph changed, has been changed by increase to this value. I can make filter in here, so to keep it only for 2024 year. So we can see that the graph and all the data has been changed to 2024 only. So here is good feature also to save it. I can save it to be shared with any other one. So anyone come to worksheet, you can see this graph output ready for review. So we come to next calculation we have. I need to multiply the current quantity by 1.5. So I will create new one. And then same step in name, but here I will make it increase quantity. And then we select forecast. Next step, I should to select this time series, include and ensure that it's correct. And next, I will keep it none and then review. We come again to calculation model as a flow. I can have more than one input, but it should be at the end one save. In this step, I will select constant arithmetic operator to do some mathematical operation on the quantity, and then I will make save. And in here, I will come to setting. I will multiply it by 1.5. I will go for validation. All good. And then I come to run again. It asks me the same question. If I would like to create new time series or use existing one, I'm using existing one and select this one and keep this for versioning. And I will put this as a description for me. It should be created. And we should wait for a while to be executed, then completed. Executing. Completed. Then we come to see all here. I come to this time series. I can see it shifted. Okay, so in here I can add additional time series while I can use it in my comparison. For example, I will use the one for date shifting and enable all this option to show in chart and in show in grid as well. I will add additional one. Once I click apply, I can see in here the original one and the one which I make calculation or amended. And if I come to here, for example, I will use Copilot to give me a summary about what in this quantity. So I can see has increased by 53% of or 2061 units compared with the original one in here. Okay, so in any step, I can see the summary provided by Copilot. So no need to do any slice and dice to come to see what is the data inside. So we complete the transformation, calculation, and we come to forecast. So what's different between calculation and forecast? Calculation to apply my condition or a specific operation on my time series. But forecast, it's a rare forecast play or used algorithm to make analytic for my data. If I come in here, here's a forecast. I will create new one. I will give it this name. Keep the precision, and for category it should be forecast. And then click next. It asks me about the time bucket. I will use monthly for forecast, and for time bucket it would be for 12 months. And then come to next. Here's the data source. I will select this one, include it, and also to check inside is the red one, and then next. Here I will keep it as a blank. I will count these steps and then finish. When I come in here, I can see all my information that I selected, and I will come to forecast model. In here, we come again to the same flow. We see the time series in the beginning as an input, and then we come to select forecast, and then we'll select save. So if I come to forecast setting, as we mentioned, there is 4 different algorithms. Standard one, so I will select or prefer best fit, while it will be applied to my product and combined by dimension. I will make save, validation. Anyhow, so it should be save and run. But I will not go with to run this forecast because it might be take around maybe 20 minutes only for one product. But I run it here before, and it's similar to be give me the forecast. For example, for this one, and this is completed. So, and it can be ready in forecast. So I can open this one to see the forecast. After I multiply the quantity, as you can see, the increase happen in quantity, okay, as factors or algorithm I used with this forecast. So the next step is the export. So once I make export, it should be come to D65, and this is the part to link the instance of D65 supply chain that it will be used for export. So in all the process for import or export, you can see, and in here it comes after it comes in data management module, and you can see all the process here, import, export, what was applied here. So once export is completed, I can come to see in my product, as we mentioned, it should be the input forecast for this product. And under demand forecast, you can see the data has been imported in here. So it can be use this forecast with master planning and then for execution for a real case for business scenario. So let us back again for our presentation. We talk about the demo, installation, and for licensing. What we have with licensing, as you know, that decertified supply chain management license cost you around 180 per user per month, and you can use demand planning with the minimum features or capabilities. But if you would like to use the demand planning with a full feature, like we did like now, so we should to pay 300 per month, and it should be moved from the normal supply chain management to be under the premium one. And the demand planning capability should be for 10 seat minimum. For the roadmap, so we have this wave of roadmap, and as you see in 2025, there is a massive features come with Copilot and depend on Copilot more and more from the features and capabilities. So, any question, please?
Questions?
Any question, please? Okay, all good.
Oops. Okay. What is the best way for us to find you on the social media?
Through my LinkedIn, I can share it with you. Let me share it.
Just share. Just share in here so anybody can contact you after as well. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing as well.
Yes, thank you very much. Thanks for all the sponsors, especially Microsoft or all other companies, and a special thanks for all the organizers, especially Rami and Jivara for their great cooperation to make this summit success and happen. Welcome with your question, and thank you very much for giving the opportunity. Thank you. Have a great weekend.